Hey everyone, so let's talk about the difference between training and exercising, because I see a lot of athletes getting confused between the two. Now, if we had to put real simple definitions to training and exercising, training we could say is the intentional focus around working towards skill or strength in a specific area, where we could look at exercising as being physical for the benefits of health. Now, where this all boils down to is mindset often. Now, when we look at the mindset between training and exercising, I would say that when we train, we often have a much more specific goal. Now, this is where athletes get confused, right? Athletes and everyday people get confused is when we're exercising, we often have a goal too. So with that thought, aren't I training? Now, when we look at that mindset between having a goal and not having a goal, if both people have a goal, I would say the athletes who train typically have better habits and mindset around consistency and boredom, whereas those who exercise have bad habits around consistency and boredom. When we boil it down, training is boring. Training is painful, training is mundane, right? We're working towards a specific thing, so often the program is very similar week to week, going through different percentages or different schemes, but we're not doing anything fun and flashy all the time. Whereas in exercising, we can have a bit more variability in there. Now, when we look at those goals, it all comes down to consistency and getting over the boredom. An example for you is, let's take an athlete who wants to get stronger, right? They've been exercising for 6 months, they've been doing really well, they've gotten a bit stronger just by being active, but now they want to get stronger and they don't see themselves making gains anymore. So they decide, okay, they find an online program for 3 days a week. They start it. Everything's going well to about 2 weeks in when they're just kind of bored. They see a friend of theirs about to take a cycling class and they decide to do it as well. But, then with work and everything, they start to miss days on the strength training program. And finally, they just get frustrated because they've missed sessions and they just stop. So there goes that goal. And there's the difference between training and exercising. I know, really, simplistic. But let's talk about one more thing that I see get a lot of athletes, and this might relate to you even more, is the fear of losing what you've already gained. Now, if you've been exercising for 6 months and say you've lost 20 pounds, but you'd like to get stronger, how often do you see, or maybe you even felt this, the worry and fear that you'll immediately gain those 20 pounds back? Now, here's the thing. If you stay consistent and you stay on your program, and if you have good habits around food, you're not going to gain your 20 pounds back. In fact, you'll gain muscle and you'll gain strength. Now, there's a whole video we could do talking about the mindset and some of the tug of war between everything that goes along with losing weight and gaining muscle and the mental games we can play with ourselves. But I just want to express the notion in this video of having fear of losing what we've already gained. So let's take weight away. Maybe it's a skill. Maybe you become very good at some gymnastic movements and now you want to get better at weightlifting movements, but you're afraid that if you don't, do all the things you were doing with the gymnastics, that it'll just go away. It's not true. Okay? So I hope that, highlighted something for you. Now you might be asking to yourself, well, how do we train? And don't get me wrong, exercising is okay. If that's your goal, if you just want to be active and you don't have anything strong goals, that's perfectly fine. Where this becomes a problem is when you're saying that you want to get stronger, you're saying you want to get better at weightlifting or whatever skill it might be, and your actions are just completely off base. Okay? How do you do it all? I got 4 steps that could really help you reach your goals, how you want to help get them. 1, set a specific goal. Know what you're working towards. 2, get a coach, right? and trust that coach. Remember, a coach doesn't succeed unless their athlete is making progress towards their goal. They're not gonna give you a bunch of baloney, right? Get a coach. 3, communicate. You have to communicate with that coach. They can't read your mind, right? And this is talking about emotions as well. How do you feel around the program? How do you feel around the structure and the training and all of that? If you're going out of your mind, tell your coach. There's often adjustments that they can make to help you build up those habits and get through training on the path to your goals. And then finally, trust the process. I see so many athletes wanting to manipulate a program before ever doing the program. You have to do the program and then test it and then make changes. If you're changing things before you get to the test point, you're never going to learn. You're never going to learn. So I hope that helps. I hope some of these key points, this conversation just brings up, you've been saying you want to do this, but you realize that you've been taking the actions that don't match what you're saying. And I hope this conversation gives you a little insight to it and gives you some motivation, some ideas how to take that next step towards your goals. Good luck.